So whenever you feel any sort of hesitation or resistance in your life, you should always just ask, why is that? And what you'll usually find is that there was some past awkwardness or some similar situation in your past that led to an uncomfortable situation, a confrontation maybe, or just something that your mind cataloged that experience and said, maybe you shouldn't do this again because it was uncomfortable. Now, it could be just something as simple as not wanting to go to the gym or not wanting to go for a run. And it's not like you get a conversation in your head saying, ooh, don't go for a run, something bad might happen. But as you're putting your shoes on, there's just this kind of, I don't know, resistance and lethargy, and you don't really want to do it. But once you get that uneasy feeling, that's when very often you'll hear your mind start talking to you, and it starts to justify why you shouldn't go for a run or why you shouldn't go and do that thing. And you'll make up excuses. Maybe it's gonna rain, or maybe your legs will hurt, or well, you went for a run yesterday, so what harm can it do to not go today? But that's your mind just trying to avoid some kind of discomfort, some awkwardness. And like when I was wanting to come out here and make this video, my mind was like, well, you gotta get your camera out, you gotta get your tripods, you gotta get the sound set up. You don't have anyone to help you, so you're gonna have to run back and forth. And your mind starts to make all of these excuses as to why you shouldn't do it. Now, your job is to just completely ignore that and just go and do the thing that your heart wants to do. Very often, like when I make these videos, that hesitation that I feel, when I actually sit and think about it and analyze what is stopping me going out and making this video now, usually the answer is that there's this fear of judgment, fear of criticism, fear that somebody's going to leave a horrible remark in the comments, fear that I'm going to look stupid. But when you actually ask the question, why aren't I going out and making this video? Why aren't I going out for a run? Why aren't I going out, for dinner with my friends? Why aren't I answering the phone? All of those little things that crop up in your life that sometimes give you that uneasy feeling. When you actually ask why and just sit and listen for the answer, very often something will reveal itself that happened in your past that was a moment of awkwardness or discomfort. And your mind is literally just remembering that moment and making you feel uneasy. That's how it keeps you safe. And that's how our bodies have evolved for the thousands of years or hundreds of thousands of years. Your mind gives you an uneasy feeling whenever it thinks you're going to do something that made you feel uncomfortable or was dangerous or was threatening, or whatever the fear happens to be. So again, just ignore that. Whenever you feel that hesitation and that resistance, ignore it completely and just go and do the thing that you want to do. You'll feel so much better about it. And the more you do that, the less your mind will actually try to interrupt you and make you feel uneasy. And this goes back to that old saying, do something every day that makes you feel uncomfortable. This is exactly the reason. You're just overriding your mind.